Welcome to Pastor Andrew's Inspirations. Today we will talk about the biblical name of Abijam. Abijam, meaning father of the sea, or my father is the sea. According to the Hebrew Bible, he was the fourth king of the house of David and the second of the kingdom of Judah. He was the son of Rehoboam and the grandson of Solomon. The chronicler refers to him as Abijam. Abijam is reported in the books of Kings and Chronicles as being the son of Micah or Micaiah and father of the king Asa of Judah. Some scholars believe the biblical accounts of Abijam's family to be contradictory. However, a study of Hebrew linguistics removes any seeming contradictions. One of the alleged contradictions is that Micah is sometimes described as the daughter of Absalom, and elsewhere the daughter of Uriel. Absalom is described as only having one daughter, Tamar. In Hebrew, daughter and granddaughter are the same word, removing any contradiction there. Similarly, Micah is initially described as Abijah's mother, but subsequently described as the mother of his son Asa. However, in Hebrew, mother and grandmother are the same word, once again removing any contradiction. Abijah married 14 wives in his lifetime and had 22 sons and 16 daughters. Following the death of Rehoboam, his son Abijah succeeded the throne as king of Judah. He began his 3-year reign with a strenuous but unsuccessful effort to bring back the 10 tribes of the northern kingdom of Israel to their allegiance. A path which in 2 Chronicles chapter 11 verse 4 his father had chosen not to follow. Following Abijah's ascension to the throne in the 18th year of King Jeroboam I of Israel, he marched north with the purpose of winning Israel back to the Davidic kingdom. Jeroboam surrounded Abijah's army, engaging in the battle of Mount Zemaram. There, Abijah rallied his troops with a phrase which has since become famous: God himself is with us. For a captain, Abijah went on to capture the Israelite cities of Jeshanah, Ephron, and Bethel. Nonconformist minister Alexander McLaren considers Abijah a wiser and better man than his father. According to the Deuteronomist, God gave him a lamp in Jerusalem by raising up a son to succeed him in 1 Kings chapter 15 verse 4. The word in the Septuagint is the Lord gave him a remnant. Thus the unconditional covenant blessing of YHWH guaranteed his promise to King David to stabilize the kingdom of David despite its ruler. The chronicler also emphasizes YHWH's promise as seen by Abijah's success against every effort by Jeroboam to defeat him. Thus the children of Israel were brought under at that time, and the children of Judah prevailed because they relied upon the Lord God of their fathers. In 2 Corinthians chapter 13 verse 18. God had given the kingdom to David and his descendants in 1 Chronicles chapter 17 verse 14 by a covenant of salt, meaning of permanence, in Leviticus chapter 2 verse 13. Although Abijah took up God's cause against Jeroboam, the idolatrous king of Israel, he was not permitted to enjoy the fruits of his victory over the latter for any considerable time, dying as he did shortly after his campaign. The rabbis recount many transgressions committed by Abijah against his fellow man, which resulted in drawing God's vengeance upon him more speedily than upon Jeroboam's idolatries. Thus it is stated that he mutilated the corpses of Jeroboam's soldiers, and even would not permit them to be interred until they had arrived at a state of putrefaction. Nor did Abijah show himself zealous in God's cause after all. For when by the conquest of Bethel the golden calves came into his possession, he did not destroy them as the law enjoined. The rabbis also point out that it was improper for Abijah to accuse the whole of Israel of idolatry and to proclaim the appointment of Jeroboam as king to have been the work of vain men, the children of Belial. Since in point of fact it was the prophet Ahijah the Shilonite who prophesied that Jeroboam would be king. For these reasons Abijah's reign was a short one. According to 2 Chronicles chapter 13 verses 1 and 2, Abijah became king of Judah in the 18th year of the reign of Jeroboam and reigned for 3 years. William F. Albright has dated his reign to 915 to 913 BCE. E.R. Thiel offers the dates 914 to 913 to 911 to 910 BCE. As explained in Rehoboam article, Thiel's chronology for the first king of Judah contained an internal inconsistency, which later scholars corrected by dating these kings 1 year earlier, so that Abijah's dates are taken as 915, 914 to 912, 911 BCE in the present article. This is the biblical name of Abijam. God's blessings be upon you, and have a great week.